We alkalize to realize the body is the temple, water is the source of life. We breathe in life and then we synthesize. This liquid sun will free your glands and begin to decalcify. Peer through your third eye, see through the lies and give your body what it's missing. We dehydrated, and that's the human condition. But when you clean the body and believe the body, you set yourself up to receive the body. See, it's a sharp knife, that's the water of life. It's like a sword cutting parasites down the sides. It takes a certain kind of faith to know that you're divine. And if it comes from urethra, then it's alkaline. We serve in truth, and it don't matter how weird it really gets. It's the linchpin ascended masters to initiates. We alkalize to realize. Open your mind and find you had it inside this whole damn time. We alkalize to realize. Open your mind and find you had it inside this whole damn time. You had it inside this whole damn time.
Hi guys, it's Holistic Health Harry Alkalize to Realize talk show. Today we're joined by a very special guest, Kerry Boyatt. Hello Kerry, how are you?
Hi Harry, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
That's all right, no problem. I've been fascinated by you after Renee Losman-Buck got in contact me on Facebook and said you need to speak to this lady, and you sent me your bio. So now here we are in this moment, and I'm going to experience you just the same as the audience, fresh, without too much priming. So Kerry, right. I know you've got an incredible story, an incredible journey. You're an artist, you're a speaker, you're soon to be an author. How did you end up in the position that you are in now?
Whew. There is a deep story here, but I'll try to condense it as much as possible. How I ended up here. I had a 21-year career in financial technology in Silicon Valley. So at the height of technology, the boom, 1996, I started working in financial technology, to which I did up until November of 2017. But over the last decade, my life has really taken a turn. A lot of times there were times that I didn't know if I was going to recover, didn't know if I was going to get back up, and to now, I wouldn't be any place other than where I am. So to give you a little understanding of what happened, 2009 was probably the biggest part, or a big part before the near-death experience. But in 2009, I was walking on Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles, and I was on a date, and I was attacked by a man. So I was assaulted, and he actually attacked her first. And so I'm with a woman, and I'm in West Hollywood. You know, it's the gay capital of the world. And so it's not something you really think about.
It's not unusual.
Too much happen. Yeah. And so we're walking down the street, and when he grabs her, she screamed, she got up, she was walking away, running away. So at least I knew she was okay. And I went after him. And I didn't go after him to start a fight or anything like that, but I wanted to at least hold him accountable and call 911. So I started walking after him, and he just kept walking faster and faster. And I kept following him. And I kept saying, excuse me. And he finally stopped. And he came toward me and just looked at me. And I held my hands out, you know, like this. And it wasn't in an aggressive way. I said, what was that? Who do you think you are? And he comes and he gets in my face And why, I don't know, that I wasn't feeling like I wasn't feeling like I was in danger for some reason. But he came and he got in my face. And can I curse on this show?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, yeah.
So he got in my face and he said, "Fucking dyke." And he turned like this way, like he was just going to walk away. And as he was doing that, he was winding up his fist, and he delivered a punch to my face that it was just like he put his fist through my skull. He broke every bone in my face. I've had 2 total facial reconstructive surgeries. He knocked my teeth out, dislocated my jaw, dislocated my rib. I ended up having injuries from that lasted 7 years. And a total, I want to say I had around 13 surgeries, 12, 13, 14 surgeries. But yeah, they had to completely reconstruct my face. And it took a long time, but the way that I hit on the pavement pulled my shoulder over my body and developed into frozen shoulder later, which I had for 7 years. I couldn't use my left arm at all, and the left part of my body was freezing. So I was in a state of what am I doing? I mean, I was becoming completely debilitated, disabled. You know, I couldn't reach for anything. And it was surgery after surgery after surgery.
Were you depressed during that time?
Answers.
Were you depressed? Obviously, that was a massive trauma. I mean, did you get better health-wise, or still going through depression?
I mean, they say that you can't overcome PTSD. So I was diagnosed with PTSD in 2014. And I'm going to go ahead and say that depression is a byproduct of PTSD. So yeah, it was dark night of the soul, without a doubt. And yeah, it just, and I'm an athlete, an elite athlete, have been my entire life. So I couldn't walk. I couldn't use my body physically like I was used to. And that in its own way led to its own depression, because, you know, just the physicality of my body.
Yeah, like
if
your mastery and something you get a lot of passion out and you're good at is just taken away from you, that would make anyone depressed for sure. So that was on top of the trauma, the actual injury and the disablement. You've got your own mastery and your own things you enjoy now disabled. Wow, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So that'll take you through. It was surgery after surgery after surgery. Even up through 2014, there were 2 surgeries in 2014. And then 2015 rolls around, and September 2nd, 2015, I was out walking my dog on the same route, doing the same thing every day. And I started sneezing, and it was different. It was a sneezing in a way that was so different than just your normal everyday kind of a sneeze. And it kept happening over and over and over. So I ended up going into anaphylactic shock, and I was dead within 25 minutes. And that night, I died 4 times, was brought back by my dog the first time. The second time was I crossed over, was greeted by my grandparents, had a conversation with God, and I was told it wasn't my time. That one, I light up just thinking about it, because it's like I can put myself back in that place. And it was such a, you know, a loving, blissful place. And I didn't want to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandparents were saying, Kerry, it's not your time. You got to go home. You got to go back. And I said, no, I've got somewhere else to go. And it was funny because I didn't have a body, but I had an energy body. And I made this motion with my hands. And I said, I've got somewhere else to go. And I was gesturing toward the light. And they just went back in the void. But yeah, I had a very deep conversation with God next. And it wasn't my time. And I said I wanted to stay.
That is so awesome. That's incredible. So you died 4 times. I mean, people have near-death experiences, and they're all amazing in their way, but it's quite unusual, isn't it, to have it 4 times? I thought it was just more common just once, and you come back and you have that experience. But 4 is very high amount to me.
Yeah, I didn't cross over all 4 times, only once. I was gone. I was in another realm. It was just like it was a void. Very different. It was like a black void all the other 3 times. And, I was, 2 other times I was brought back by people because I was trying to get to the paramedics and I kept losing consciousness. And I mean, I couldn't breathe. My airways swelled shut. My eyes were swollen. My tongue was swollen. I looked like I was looking in a mirror at a funhouse. And yeah, it wasn't pretty, but and I knew I was dying. I absolutely knew it.
Were you atheist before that? Did you have a belief in God, and this is an experience where you were shown what we call the truth of reality, or did you know before that?
Whoops, sorry about that.
It's okay. Yeah. Did you?
Well, I am born and raised, grew up in the Bible Belt.
Okay.
Of the South. So I was raised Southern Baptist. So I always had a belief in God. It changed in how I believed because, the way that it's taught in the Bible Belt is you're an abomination and you're going to hell. I never believed that way. And so my God was different, but I always had a belief in a higher power.
Cool.
So even with the experience, it just confirmed it without a doubt.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you had these amazing, what you call now blessed experiences, and that could you say that was what that and combined with the face smashing and the 7 years of trauma, and that combined to create a different version of you than what you were living the life before in a radical way, right? If you've ever spoken to anyone that's had a near-death experience, they will say, as I will say, you do not come back the same. You don't come back the same person. And I didn't. So I had been 21 years in financial technology, and it didn't make sense anymore. There was a period of time that I even forgot how to use a computer. Like all of my memories were being taken away. Like I couldn't remember names of coworkers that I'd worked with for 15 years. I couldn't remember names of clients that I'd had for 10 years. And I remember I was on a webinar with a client, and it was a PowerPoint presentation, and I forgot how I could not remember how to advance the slide. And forgive me for the ignorance, but is that because of the brain injuries, right? The brain injuries and stuff what happened to you?
It was, I think, all of the above, because so from the assault, I had a traumatic brain injury, post-concussive syndrome, PTSD. Those were like the cognitive things were really bothersome. But from after the near-death experience, so the first one, well, the only near-death experience was the first night. But what happened was I went into anaphylactic shock 6 more times over the next 21 days. So 7 times in 21 days, I went into anaphylactic shock. And I didn't die any of the other times, but I had to save my own life, either with an EpiPen or with the paramedics who came. And they couldn't figure out, they still don't know.
How you survived it?
Well, they don't know what I was allergic to.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, these were allergies. I see. Okay. Oh.
Yeah, they did every test imaginable, and nothing came back. So it's never happened since. But, you know, I came back with sensitivities that, you know, we all have spiritual gifts. Everyone does. It's whether or not you come to know it during your lifetime or not. But, you know, you come back with sensitivities that you may not have had before. And that definitely was the case with me. So there are things now that, you know, I have connection to, that I understand, and it seems normal.
Yeah.
It just seems normal.
And it would have been completely weird to you to do what you're doing now, in a way, to the old you before these things happened. So the transformation has been, like you said, a new person in every sense of the way.
Every sense of the way.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so that is fascinating. I love near-death experiences, and this has transformed you. So from that moment, you realized you couldn't do your old job, because your brain wasn't working properly. So you had to, I guess, you had to quit your old. You couldn't work that, right? So you quit that job and tried to find a new way with all you knew.
So what happened was, I resigned, and I didn't want to do it anymore. It was more than just not, you know, I didn't even try to get back into that line of work. It felt empty. So what I was being led to do was, I was being led toward crystals and pyramids. And I started having this incredible desire to read. So I had probably read 4 books since I graduated college in 1994. I'd probably read 4 books from 94 to 2015. In 3 years, we can say it's, you know, in the 4 years now, but in the first 2 years after it, I had read 200 books. Yeah. I'm easily at 400 now, and I say that with it's just all I could do was try to understand what had happened to me.
Yeah, that's what motivated you then. So you were trying to understand and assimilate all this knowledge from other people that you didn't have in your brain to your experiences.
Exactly. And the books that I was reading, they had this depth to them, and, you know, the spiritual depth. And, you know, I would hear things and I would get this feeling, and, you know, many people would call it clairsentience. There's this clairsentient feeling that I would get, and it would lead me toward it, and this deep desire to learn more about it. And that was what happened, you know, with learning how to make crystal pyramids. So these are energy pyramids, and I make these now, but, you know, like I said, I didn't really want to do what I was doing anymore. I wanted out of that industry. You know, it had served me well.
And you needed money, right? So you needed something else to replace that job. And you wanted to be more in alignment with what you knew about the realities of consciousness and your own mission. You were probably more what's the word for it? Probably really certain in what you had to do in this world, I guess, after you came out with that experience.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was just, you know, led to understanding the power of the shape of the pyramid and the power of the quartz crystal. Now think about this. So So I had been in Silicon Valley, high tech, for 21 years.
Mm.
Never in that 21 years,
Mm.
never did I know that the quartz crystal,
Mm.
that we would have no modern day technology. None of it would exist. The iPhone, the iPad, computers,
Mm.
gas stove, absolutely none of it would exist
Mm.
without a quartz crystal.
Yeah.
And you take it a step further,
Mm.
Silicon Valley
Mm.
is named after a quartz crystal because a quartz crystal is silicon dioxide.
I didn't know that. That's
And
good. That's good. Oh, wow.
and 3/4
Mm.
of the earth is made up of silicon dioxide.
Huh.
And you never hear
Mm.
about the tech giant. You never hear any of the tech giants
Mm.
talk about the one thing that makes it all possible. And so I really became interested in learning about it.
Mm.
And think about this: a gas stove.
Mm.
When you turn the gas stove and it goes click, click, click.
Yeah, that sound when it's clicking on. Yeah.
There is a quartz crystal in a gas stove, and there's a little hammer that's hitting it.
Yeah.
And it causes what's called a piezoelectric effect, which is a
Oh.
spark.
Yeah.
And you can even take two crystal pyramids, bang them together, and there's a spark.
Oh.
But when you put it into resin, it creates a mechanical stress on it, just like the hammering of the quartz crystal in a stove.
Fascinating.
So
But it's permanent, right? It's permanent stress as opposed to just a temporary.
Exactly.
Oh.
So with these, it's 24/7, 365.
Isn't that fascinating?
There are 5 quartz crystals.
Yeah, so it must be so full of energy that it never taps out of its energy by we're talking about 24 mechanical stress and it never runs out. These crystals never seem to die. That's crazy.
No.
Huh. That's the power of the crystals. I mean, I'm wearing some now. I've got some necklaces and crystals on my skin. I love them. I know they're powerful. Yeah, they're really crazy. Mm.
They are. They are. So yeah, I make them all the time. I could make them all day, every day. And but it brings me so much joy. And then when I send them to people or give them to people, the way that just the smile, like you can see it, the appreciation, and it just it makes me so happy.
Yeah, you're literally shifting the energy vibrations of the planet. And we said off air quickly that you go out and you'll just throw them or place them into environments, the good ones, just randomly, just kind of cool too.
I do. I'll walk around, and I don't know, one of my favorite things is to put them inside of tree holes and kind of bury them. And because what I know, and this is just what it's a knowing, that the energy that's coming off of this, it's like, think of a cyclone, think of a tornado, think of a funnel, whatever.
Yeah.
There's an energy that's going off of it, but it's invisible to the human eye.
Yeah.
But 99% of all energy, frequency, and vibration is invisible to the human eye.
Right.
So we can't see it.
Right.
But I don't know if I can do that right here. Maybe I can, because this is really neat to show. I'm just going to hold it up, and you can see that I'm not moving anything. But just watch it shake, and then it's going to go back and forth, and it's going to do a little circle.
Yeah, its preferences to do. Yeah, it's a circling, isn't it? Its preferences to do.
It's going to go in a perfect. It'll go in a perfect circle in a second. And then when I put, I'll play music to it, and it changes. It's so funny. People sing for me. People play instruments for me, and I absolutely love it.
Do you make them under those conditions? Do you make them under special? Some people do. Some people make them under really special. They bless it and all these kind of things.
And are you meaning like playing certain frequencies like
Yeah, well,
432 or 528.
Some people do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep. But there are so many things that people do, and I've done them all. I don't stick with one thing. The one thing I do with all of them is, everything that goes inside of them is saged, and I pray over all of them. There's so much prayer in these pyramids. It's kind of ridiculous, but yeah, loving intent goes into every single one.
I think that's the key.
But I do.
I'll say quickly that people sometimes don't believe in them. And we said about invisible, and you talked about invisible frequencies. When you put them on your hand, though, if you just close your eyes and feel it, I can feel. I'm pretty sure even if you're not smart or anything, you can feel that shift in consciousness, and you can feel it vibrating in your hand. I don't know how people can deny it. I find it very strange that people can't put it in the hand and say there's nothing going on here. Because I've had people, when I tried it, at the beginning of my journey, I was into this stuff and I was trying to convince people of these things. I didn't realize that people weren't going to believe me. So they're just kind of mocking me. And I thought, why are you mocking me, man? Like, this thing's real. I can feel the energies, and I couldn't get it. Everyone should feel it. It's easy.
I think a lot of people, and I agree with you 100%. A lot of people it's a belief system. It's a belief system because they can't see it. It does not exist. But also, I think a lot of people are a lot of people are in survival mode. A lot of people are really like having difficult times, period, regardless of what it may be, that it almost can sometimes become a last resort of, oh gosh, everything is going so wrong. The only thing I've not tried is crystals. And, but I think a lot of people are not open to it because there's survival mode in so many people, that people are wondering how they're going to put food on the table. Some people are wondering how they're going to, put their kid through college, whatever, that taking the time to feel the qualities, to feel the properties, the healing powers in the minerals, most people really aren't willing to do.
Yeah.
I think, and a lot of it's fear.
Yeah.
A lot of it's a belief system. But one of the things that I'm absolutely on a mission to do is to break that mindset. Right. It's to open up the consciousness of people so that they can look at what Mother Earth gives us. Yeah. Look, these are hundreds of millions, if not a couple of billion years old. They hold information. And, Nikola Tesla, he himself said, it's a longer quote, but essentially there's consciousness in here. And it's true. Yeah. It's true.
Yeah, I love what you said there, and I love the mission statement you just given us. You dropped us a huge one there. So your mission is to raise the consciousness vibration of the planet, and this is the avenue that you feel that since you've had your near-death experience, you've come out of as, I'm going to learn about my experience, and I'm going to create a business and do it ethically, support and give to people and get them out of this fear mindset. And the way you're doing that is through selling very powerful energies of the organs and crystals, right?
Yeah, and speaking as well. That's been really important because I'm really getting an opportunity to speak to the youth, and that's been a key because I didn't quite know, but because of what I can capture with a pendulum or even a necklace, it just needs to be something a little weighted and a string. So I've had so many kids, teenagers, boys and girls, doesn't matter. They are so drawn to these. So I've spoken at STEM, science, tech, like STEM camps for girls. I've spoken at school systems, Boys and Girls Club, and they call me the Triangle Lady.
Triangle. Nice.
which I think is adorable. But, you know, when I've spoken probably 3 times at the Boys and Girls Club, and there's this one time I went in with a bunch of pyramids, and I had them sitting on a table, and I had the kids come up and, you know, use the pendulum, and their minds were blown, and they all had their hands up wanting to do it. I want to do it. I want to do it. And they were asking, how's that happening? How's that happening? And these kids can now say, Mom, Dad, this is invisible energy. We can't see it, but watch. I can capture it. So yeah, it's been really cool to see.
Yeah, that's really important. That's a really good avenue, because we're always looking at in myself as ways to how can we set ourselves in the position to impact children, the youth, even if we don't have kids ourselves. And I don't, but I'm very keen in that. And the way we do that is by going around, being given the opportunity to speak. And I mean, one-to-one is cool, but if you can, for me, you can have more impact by doing like a lecture, and you can speak to 20 kids as opposed to just one-on-one. And these, you know, that's much more impactful to me, much more, time efficient, isn't it, to really get to the generation.
Yeah. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it seems like every time I speak somewhere, you know, 3 avenues in other areas that I didn't even think about will open up.
Oh,
so
awesome. More
it's been probably expanding more rapidly than I expected. So I'm really happy.
Cool. And do you sell them there too, or is it just literally just speaking? You can sell them too. That's cool.
I sell them, and I was going to give you, you know, I'm in the U.S. obviously, but I was going to give your viewers a 28% discount if you want to do it.
Yes.
If you want to offer that, and just do, you know, lifeforcepyramids.com.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a comment section, and put Holistic Harry as the code.
Yeah, they know it's me. Come through me. Yeah.
And that will help with, you know, cause it's just unreasonable, the shipping rates from here to the UK. Yeah. So, you know, I thought the 28% would help a little bit if any of your
we appreciate
viewers.
that. And not only that, I love supporting myself. I just bought a Tensor ring off a lady that I'm hoping to affiliate with, but she wanted to give it me for free, but I said no, I'm going to buy it. So I love to support myself, and it's not even about support. I actually genuinely love them too. So it's a bit of both. You're supporting people, but you're also getting what you want. So it's a very good. I love it, and I hope people take advantage of this. They're watching it. I'm sure people like now crystals and organs, both of them together, and yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Okay, so you said also you're going to be an author to a book. So are you in the process at the moment of writing a book or about crystals?
I am.
Okay.
I am. I'm probably a third of the way through right now. So it's happening organically. But the funny thing is, there have just been, even over the last like 2 weeks, there have been things that's happened that I could have never guessed, and without a doubt it's going in the book. So it's almost like it's writing itself as my days go.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, definitely. I can't wait for that book to come out then. Is it based on your life story to date and all the stuff we're talking about here and then today?
It's my life story. Yeah. There's just the few things that I've shared here is just honestly a fraction. So yeah, I've lived a full life. I'm 49, and sometimes I don't feel like a day older than 89, but it'll make for a good book. It'll make for a good book. I think it's going to help. I think it's going to help a lot of people.
Definitely. It's like leaving a legacy out there that, you know, once you're gone from this life, you know, we obviously know there is life after death and all that stuff, but even from this life, you left your little imprint of why you were here in duality. You know, there's your marker and there's the information from you condensed into a nice 400, 300 pages, however long it is. So yeah, I love reading books myself. I'm a huge fan. They woke me up. They're a game changer, like the best of people inside a book, and they'll be best of you.
Yeah, without a doubt. I heard like Someone said once that the wealthiest place on the planet is the graveyard.
I've heard that, yeah.
That's where all stories, most of, that's where all the untold stories are. So, my goal is to rob the cemetery of an untold story, and in the process to, help motivate and inspire other people to tell their stories. Because honestly, one of the most incredible things that's happened is the more that I've shared my near-death experience, it's given people a way to have strength or a safe place just within me of them sharing. It may not have been a near-death experience, although there have been 2 people that have told me about their near-death experience and that they had never told anyone. And they cried and they said, I can't believe I've never told anyone that. And it's the most, I can't explain how it makes my heart feel when someone is opening up that way and in such a vulnerable way. But how they feel when they leave that conversation. And because they'll come back and they'll say, Kerry, I'm a different person than I was before we met or before that conversation. And gratitude is, I live every day in deep gratitude. And I have so many stories to be grateful for. But I absolutely love when people find the strength inside themselves to tell a powerful story and not take it to the grave. So
that's powerful, and thank you so much for sharing with us what you're doing and your gratitude and helping people in that way and comfort. I feel when you were talking about that, it reminded me of the moments when I connect with other people over Zoom, and sometimes then I'll talk informally and I'll talk about, we'll just get to know each other in deep conversations. So not much superficial stuff, which I think a lot of society enjoys, which is okay, but it's not what I do. It's not my gift. So yeah, we'll talk and open up, and that makes me want to open up when other people do. And then the opening up process of 2 people, like you said, is very, it can get quite emotional and powerful and raw and real. And I feel vulnerable, but in a good way. It's like people really connecting the true essence of who you are. And I feel like that's why when I come away from it with what you said, just gratitude and love for myself and other people. And I bless the world for my gifts and our gifts and just, it's amazing. It's amazing feeling that deep gratitude you talked about too. It's wonderful. It's enough to make one cry when I think about it. Like it's crazy.
Trust me, I have. When practicing gratitude is something that it softens the heart. And if nothing else, just find anything in your day before you go to bed. And that's when I'll do it, is before I go to bed. But find anything, even if you think you have nothing to be grateful for, find it. Did you eat? Did you drink water today? Just find it. And when you find one, trust me, the second will come, then the third. Then allow yourself to just start writing, and you'll be amazed at what you have. And wow, I'm pretty wealthy in a lot of things and in a lot of ways. And it does not have to mean money, because money does not bring you happiness.
That's powerful what you said. And it's funny, but there's a little bit of synchronicity while we're talking about gratitude now, because I started and I've been, not in a bad way, I've just been ungrateful for lack of practice for the longest time. And this year I committed to, so every day this year I've been practicing gratitude at least before bed, but I'm also going to do in the morning too now, because I think I just want to get more. But what I've noticed is I'm getting spontaneously cry at times, and it's not even trying. So at first I was practicing, and now it's more becoming spontaneous. And now I'm finding, like you said, it's a snowball. So it becomes it was mechanical and unnatural at first, and now it's becoming more slowly, not a massive change, but I'm just noticing seeds to keep me motivated. Oh, it's coming naturally, and like it just feels good, even if I do it mechanically, to say, hey, I'm grateful because, and what I do with myself is, and what people can do is link it to your mastery, what you love. So I love health. So when I'm grounding, I'm like, oh, thank you, Gaia, you're giving me free energy medicine. Oh, I'm wearing crystals. They're giving me medicine.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
And you just find what you love. You find what you love, and you just and everyone loves something. So just keep on with that, and just keep thinking, be grateful for it.
You know, when I was going through like the darkest periods, with a third of my body was frozen. I couldn't feel a third of my body. What had happened was when my shoulder was frozen, it ended up freezing the left side, all the left side of my torso. And it's like, I couldn't move like this. I couldn't move like this. So every day, the freedom that I feel in my body now, because I'm 100% recovered, and I'm able to do just about anything I want. But the gratitude that comes from when because there's still that trauma that maybe I'll go to move a certain way that for 7 years I was unable to do. And I'm going to go to make that movement, and there'll be this slight maybe hesitancy because I think I can't do it. And then I do. I will many times just break down and cry right there. But that will be something that will bring me to my knees. And the gratitude doesn't stop. It's just like, it'll just roll. It'll just keep rolling until
you're getting what's happening. You're getting a reminder. And this is the problem why people, unfortunately, I don't mean ungrateful in a bad way, but we are all ungrateful unless we practice gratitude. So we need reminders, and we can manually remind ourselves. But how about we all go back into, because we've all got stories here. Everyone watching's got an amazing story. And you go back to your worst days of your life. Remind yourself, take yourself back there. I used to be like this. I used to be like that. It might not be your reality now, but it was a part of you. And then the gratitude comes from that, and think, I've come a long way. That's one of the deepest gratitude. There's so many, but that's one of them. Like, how far have we actually come on this journey? Quite a long way. It's pretty, we should be grateful for that. Should be grateful.
And it's easy it should be easy for just about anyone to think back at a time in their lives that things were worse than where you are right now. So go back there. Go try to put yourself there and think about, well, this is actually better, and this is better, and you know.
Well, if they want to play the comparison game, they can go, okay, well, I'm not a kid in Africa that's not had a life and has just died at 4 years old. People have come in the earth after me. They died before me. People have got illnesses, chronic illness. I'm not in the hospital. I've got arms and legs and I can move them. You couldn't. And now it's crazy.
Yeah, you actually just gave me chills when you said you've got arms and legs, and you can move them when I couldn't, and I felt that. So thank you. I
didn't mean that in a bad way. I meant because
no.
Just compare it with other people.
I get it.
Like, when people are blind, it makes you appreciate. Hey, listen, I've never been blind, but I know other people are, and they're humans like me. So.
Yeah. No. It just. I was in a prison. And it was a mental prison, and it was a physical prison, and I swear I don't know which was worse. But I think the physical, just that lack of mobility that I'd had my entire life was just ripped away from me, and I had never been in a constant state of suffering. It was 24/7 suffering that never let up. And every day I have a smile that is not my life.
Yeah.
That is not my life any longer. I learned the lessons, I guess, if I can look at it that way. There are lessons in everything. And I'll take those lessons and run with it.
Yeah, and it comes across in your personality. This is the thing. It comes across in your smile, what you're doing now, and how I'm looking at you. Everything that you do and been through and how you see the world and gratitude and, all that comes across 24/7. We're broadcasting to other people. It's crazy.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, love it.
We are always broadcasting.
Yeah.
And and the universe is always listening. So be careful what you broadcast.
Definitely. I did want to ask you a little bit selfishly. So we talked a little about crystals and the frequencies. What do you suspect is just one thing, one type of energy, or do you think there's a lot of things going on with these energies that you make and other people make? What's going on? Do you know any? There's science, but there's not really science. And what's your theory? Is there any theories you've got that are different to other people's, or do you just? I'm just interested in that stuff.
Do you mean with like the metaphysical properties?
Yeah, I mean, what reasons do you think why they are so powerful? Do you think it's just one thing, or a lot of things, or is there some fringe ideas you've got that?
Well, like with the quartz crystal specifically, it's silicon dioxide. 3/4 of the Earth's crust is made up of silicon dioxide. So these guys have a history, they have a memory. And when you think of all of the things that we can do with the quartz crystal, which is everything over the last 100 years, anything that has to do with, digital technology, electrical. And I recently heard bulletproof vests also.
Oh, they're in bulletproof vests. Oh, okay.
And I didn't know that till recently. But if you think of, like what Nikola Tesla said about there being consciousness, and that whole quote is on my website. So him talking about
what is your website, by the way?
Consciousness.
You told me your website.
It's lifeforcepyramids.com.
Cool. Life Force.
Yeah. So yeah, the Nikola Tesla's quotes on there. But anyway, so when you think of something that has been alive for hundreds of millions, if not, because there are people that say that some of the oldest crystals are 2 billion years old. It's a consciousness, and we know that energy cannot be created or destroyed, can only be transformed. So there is a wealth of knowledge and capabilities that reside inside of a quartz crystal. It obviously does things that attract the tech billionaires. And they're not letting us in on it. They're not really.
Do you think there's a conspiracy going on then? They know something about it that. Right.
I won't say anything about conspiracies, but it's more of I mean, just think about it. Have you ever heard any of the tech multimillionaires and billionaires? Have you ever seen a thank you article?
Everything that runs their computer chips and the computers and laptops and technology.
Exactly.
No,
they just, it's just their genius, right? But you take this away, all of it's gone. All of it.
Yeah.
Computers, gone. So Bill Gates, didn't matter.
That's
Steve
crazy.
Jobs, so?
It reminds me in the cheesy way of that, what's that Winston Churchill? So never was so much owed to so few, to so many by so few.
It's just the funniest thing. And I was in high tech for 21 years. Had no idea.
Yeah.
It was never talked about. And I just find it's a shame. I really find it's a shame. So I'll stop short of, saying conspiracy. There needs to be some gratitude, though.
Yeah. It's like whoever the people, humans being ungrateful, and that made you, like your mum and dad saying, well, it doesn't matter, I'm just here. No, be grateful, you're here because your mum and dad. Like, oh, it doesn't matter about mum and dad, don't worry about them, it's just me. Like, it's crazy.
So true. But yeah, I mean, all of them have their own metaphysical properties. So like red jasper, for example, it vibrates, it's red, vibrates at the earth, root chakra. There's a different level.
Right. That's red, isn't it? Root chakra's red. That's a coincidence, isn't it? Red jasper, red root chakra.
No, it's not a coincidence.
No, not coincidence at all. I know.
Yeah. I mean, so think about gemstones with the colors. So, so you go root chakra, then you've got, go orange. I'll just throw out carnelian, solar plexus, third chakra, citrine,
yeah.
yellow, fourth chakra, the heart, green. So it could be green aventurine, could be emerald, ton of green stones. Fifth chakra, throat, that's blue. So that could be lapis lazuli, which is a favorite, sodalite, aquamarine. I mean, stones, a bunch of blue stones. But you've got the third eye, which is kind of a
purple, isn't it? Purple color, isn't it? The third one.
Yeah,
Amethyst. I'm thinking amethyst. Is an amethyst one okay for that one?
Yeah, and well, the funny thing is, it's like an indigo, I guess, color, but purple. But but when I was doing this one. Which it was like the colors of the rainbow.
Yeah, cool.
These were literally, so these would be the chakra colors. And when I got to the sixth one, it was giving me navy blue for when I was looking at it from a chakra perspective. So, but I don't know if I got that right or not, but anyway, that's what I was going for there. But yeah, it was like this it was a deeper blue, it went from like a lighter blue to a deep blue.
Yeah, you see, I look at light blue of the sky. I think the sky is like a light blue, that lights up the throat chakra, and then you've got the darker blue, maybe when the sky gets darker, I don't know, yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like you said, amethyst. Amethyst is crown chakra.
Yeah, I like
top of your head.
You're reminding me of something I used to do. I wear crystal bracelets. I need to buy some. The reason why is when I lie down at night before I go to sleep, what I do is I keep the body still for a long period of time. But what I used to do is I used to put crystals on the places. So the purple amethyst, I put one on there. I put the blue one on there. I put a green one on that one. And I used to do that. And that seemed to work really good. It seemed to vibrate me.
I've done the exact same thing. I'll lay down and have all the colors, going up and down the body.
I feel like it's more, I love them anyway, don't get me wrong, but I feel like if you're gonna use a crystal, the best way to use it as a hack is to hold them and keep them on your skin, because there's something magical happens when you have skin contact, either be crystal bracelets, necklaces, or holding them in your hand. That's where the best utilization, if you're in a really desperate state or you just want to you'd be happy as much as possible, then I use these hacks and I'll just hold them instead of keep them around and make the most of it.
I carry them with me every day, everywhere I go. They're if I'm not wearing something, it's in my pocket. So I'll have certain ones that I'll take if I'm going to speak here or going to talk at this or whatever it may be. I'll take different stones for different events. But what I'll do is find what fits well in my hand. And here's a good example. So this, you know what this is? Have you ever seen anything like that before?
Black tourmaline?
No. But that's a good guess.
Do you know why? Wait, just a quick one. I can't see colors. I've got the iris on the orange. So that's why I'm guessing it wrong, right? It's all orange to me.
This is tree resin. And so when I carry this in my pocket, it's as if I'm carrying a tree in my pocket. And it's really good for, like, you don't really ever want to think of stones as absorbing negative energy. It's more of, it's taking it from you and
Transmuting it, transmutation in a good way.
Yeah, because a lot of times you'll hear people say it's, you know, like a quartz crystal absorbing something, but it's actually ridding the body of it, or like transforming. But with this one, it actually does absorb negative energy.
Cool.
So you can, so what I tell people, I have a bunch of these and I give them away to everyone that comes over. And because I get to tell the story, and I'll have them hold like a handful of these and a handful of like these citrine, and there's a world of difference. This is like popcorn. It's like air. There's hardly any weight to this. And so they're holding either rose quartz or citrine, and then I'll put the same amount in the other hand, and they'll say, what is this? And I'll explain to them. So there was a girl that came over. She's 15 years old, and I said to her, I said, what makes you anxious? What gets you nervous? She said, math. I said, "Ooh, I remember those days." I said, that used to do the same for me. She said, math every time. I said, okay, so what I want you to do is, and I put like 10 in front of her. I said, you want to find one that you can rub. And do you know, like, my grandparents would call, you know, tumbled stones worry stones. And what they would do is they would carry them and they would rub them, and they just started calling them worry stones.
So our grandparents' generation were messing about with stones and knowing its powers to help.
Yeah, exactly. And so I would explain to them, you know, you just find something that when you're taking your math test, or you're going in for it, you got this in your pants pocket, your purse, backpack, whatever, and you need to get this and you want to rub. It's like you're wanting to get rid of that anxious energy. I said, this is your best friend. This is a tree in your pocket, and it will be happy to take that anxiety from you. So she sat down and she started going through, and she was doing this to every single one. She said, oh, this one's calling my name, this one. So she found one, and she won't leave home without it. She will not leave home without it, which is really cool.
That's a crazy story. So what do you think's going on there? The trees, do you think trees are so powerful, they're absorbing the energy? The tree's powerful enough that way beyond our understanding capabilities, just takes on the pain of humans or something? It's crazy.
Trees are so brilliant. Trees, their communication system, you know, the root system, it boggles the mind. And most people don't even, most people will just look out a window, see a tree, and not
understand the complexity of what's going on. I'm with you. The root networks, and the way they talk to each other, it's just beyond even my capacity to understand. It's like, it's moment by moment. There's so much going on there that, it's crazy.
And there's an exchange, because humans, we share the same DNA as the tree. So human beings, there's this exchange with carbon dioxide and oxygen. And so we couldn't live without each other.
Symbiotic relationship, right?
Exactly. And but anytime I'm out in nature, I always take a backpack that has a pyramid that I've made. And because of the energy that I know that's going off of it, I know that invisible energy is going to go through that root system.
Yeah.
And it's going to fill the forest. It's going to bless the animals. And, try not to get too woo-woo here, but I'm able to visualize what it's doing, because I know what the quartz crystal does, and I know the shape of the pyramid itself is, pyramid power. There's a power just in the shape. And then when I'm putting it inside of a hole, and I can just see the roots already just start, all right, got some good energy coming, fellas, or guys, gals, whatever. They just start talking to one another.
Yeah, that's crazy. You definitely made me think about how trees have massive roots and systems. It's really important for them to grow big. They won't grow big. So I was thinking in my mind, also humans, the problem is that we are tackling sometimes spiritual matters without grounding ourselves in roots. We have to have a strong root system too. And a lot of us go up in our head and we forget about the lower chakras, and they're so important. Like, we need to be like a tree and not forget and neglect the roots, because the roots are what holds everything together. And if that doesn't hold together, humans will fall apart. And that's what's happening to a lot of people with sickness. I think the root systems in a way just weak. And
I would agree with you, because I can tell you, after the near-death experience, I was really high up here. My higher chakras were, I was firing. I was not grounded at all. But that has finally, I could not be more peaceful and at peace and happy. So,
I'm so glad you found your mission in life, and it's an amazing mission. It's very inspiring. And before you go, though, I'd love to ask you: is there anything else that we haven't covered that you'd like to touch bases with? We'll get to your website, because I've forgotten it already. I think I'll leave it in smile. It's Life Force Pyramids, but. Yeah, is there anything you'd like to touch base with? And also, if not, just a closing speech on just what you want to give the audience as a message.
I think we've probably touched on most things, but maybe what I think I want to say is, in what I'm trying to do is, I hear people say that I want to raise the vibration, I want to raise the consciousness, but a lot of times I don't hear well, how are you going to do that? Because, it sounds good, and I'm sure that they have good intentions, but I want to show people. I want to take these, and, because the place where I'm from, born and raised, this would be something that would be, when I grew up here, but I've been in LA for 22 years. I've come home to write my book, so I'm back in Tennessee. And I never thought that I would be able to talk about the people. Talk about the quartz crystals and the pyramids to this group of people, just because, it's the Bible Belt. This would be the kind of thing that would be called witchcraft or something demonic, like that.
Maybe demonic.
Yeah. And I've not gotten any of that. It's actually been the exact opposite. People are wanting to talk about it. People are wanting to understand it. People are wanting to, hey, Kerry, show me how you did that, whatever. And it's just, I'll go to anyone's house. I get invited to places that blows my mind. And I always take a bag full of pyramids and pendulums, but I'm able to explain it to where it's like, oh, that's not demonic, or that's not witchcraft. I'm like, no, it's not. It's 99% of the light spectrum is invisible to the human eye. It's the same way that if you've got a Wi-Fi tower over there, you've got a cell phone here. How's that and I'm talking to you. There are these invisible frequencies that we're swimming around, but we can't see them.
Yeah.
But we're not calling those demonic.
Yeah. Yeah, true. It's good explanations, people. That will work. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, because what I want to say about these, these are, what is inside of this pyramid is 5 quartz crystals, 1 at the apex, 4 at the base. And they are based on pure harmony. So all of these pyramids, their state of being is harmony. When you think of all of the other invisible frequencies that we're swimming in every day, from Wi-Fi, cell, computers, TVs, microwaves, whatever, all of those frequencies are inharmonious to the human body.
Right.
And most people don't either want to recognize that, or they're unable to, whatever. But it's not that those frequencies are not based on harmony. And what these do is the quartz at the apex gets excited by those inharmonious frequencies, because it's going to make anything in its surrounding area, it's going to bring it into harmony. Cool. So the quartz crystal will send out a frequency to bring in any inharmonious frequencies, brings it inside the pyramid. Inside of every pyramid has a layer of metal. This one is gold BBs. I use iron oxide. I use brass powder. Those are what I use mostly. But think of it this way: that acts as a filtering system. So it filters that inharmonious frequency, filters it, so it comes in completely out of harmony, comes here, goes through the filtering system. 20% comes out of the 4 quartz crystals at the base. 80% completely transformed, transmuted, pure positive energy goes up the top. Wow. So that, you know, it just in its immediate environment, like you've got this in a child's bedroom. Your child's bedroom, it's just going to be swimming in harmonious frequencies.
And so small, it's amazing. So such a small thing can do so much good. It's crazy.
Yep. You put this one outside, if it's not obstructed by any, you know, thick walls or anything like that. But let's say you put it outside on a patio, porch, deck, whatever. I think this one is 3/4 of a mile.
Wow.
But this one, so this one's the biggest one I make.
Oh, that's huge. Yeah.
So this one is a 6x6. And this one has a reach of 4 or 5 miles.
Whoa.
I think.
Crazy. That's like, whoa, that's mad. That's something, it's big, but it's not 4 or 5 mile warranted. That's crazy.
Yep.
Huh.
And I've made over 2,000 of these in 2 years, and no 2 are the same. And the cool thing is they glow in the dark.
Oh, cool.
That is the most like fascinating part. I mean, other than the awesome things that they do, but aesthetically seeing them,
good. Yeah, it's
when
nice
they glow in the dark.
Yeah, let's be honest.
Yeah. So
cool. This is, I've learned so much myself with the crystals. Thank you for explaining it in such a beautiful way. This is what we love about people. Sometimes you can hear it from someone, they don't explain it properly, or not properly, they don't explain it in a way that connects with a certain person. We've got different personalities. So you definitely, with me, you just connected dots in such a beautiful, simple way that now I understand more fully what I believed in anyway, but it's nice to know there's it's doing all this transmuting and sending it down, and quartz at the bottom, the quartz at the top. So Thank you very much, Kerry, for sharing it today. And
You're very welcome.
Before we go, I'd like you to just reaffirm to us your website and your discount codes and anything else information-wise for your business. So.
Yeah, so it's lifeforcepyramids.com.
Mm-hmm.
And any of your viewers that wants to take advantage of it, you can get a 20% discount. All you'll need to do is on the lifeforcepyramids.com website, go to comments, and it'll ask you, you know, your information, your name and all of that. And in the comments section, just put code holistic Perry.
Cool.
And that will trigger me to give the 28% discount. And what I can even do is put in there your 2 favorite colors. Then I can custom make it.
Okay. Oh, you can do that.
I can. Yeah. That's what I've been doing before I put my website up. So, you know, right now there's a bunch that are on there, but anyone that wants me to do one, I'll custom make it.
Awesome. And do you do work on YouTube, Facebook, or is those just minor things?
So social media, Instagram, Life Force Pyramids,
okay.
Facebook, Life Force Pyramids.
Oh,
No
okay. I need to like your page of Bicycle Pyramids too. So I'll get on, and yeah, I need to do that too. Okay. So yeah, this was Harry Holistic of Harry Alvarez Road Show. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you so much, Kerry. And,
thank you.
Thank you for your time. Peace.
We alkalize to realize the body is the temple, water is the source of life. We breathe in life and then we synthesize. This liquid sun will free your glands and begin to decalcify. Peer through your third eye, see through the lies and give your body what it's missing. We dehydrated, and that's the human condition. But when you clean the body and leave the body, you set yourself up to receive the body. See, it's a sharp knife, that's the water of life. It's like a sword cutting parasites down the sides. It takes a certain kind of faith to know that you're divine. And if it comes from urethra, then it's alkaline. We serve in truth, and it don't matter how weird it really gets. It's the linchpin ascended masters to initiates. We alkalize to realize. Open your mind and find you had it inside this whole damn time. We alkalize to realize. Open your mind and find you had it inside this whole damn time. You had it inside this whole damn time.